I woke up early to an unusual silence. Normally, by this time, Jessica would already be bustling in the kitchen, preparing breakfast for us. Today, though, the kitchen was empty, and the house felt eerily quiet. As I rubbed the sleep from my eyes, I noticed a note on the kitchen counter. It read, "Gone to the food festival. Don't wait up. Love, Jessica." I couldn't help but smile. Jessica had been looking forward to this festival for months. She loved trying new foods, meeting chefs, and immersing herself in the culinary world. But as I read the note again, a strange feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. Something about it felt off, but I quickly brushed it aside, attributing it to my early morning grogginess. I made myself a cup of coffee and sat at the kitchen table, thinking about our life together. Jessica and I had met in college. She was studying art history, and I was majoring in economics. We bumped into each other at a campus event, and it was love at first sight. We shared dreams, ambitions, and a passion for exploring new experiences. Our wedding on the beach was one of the happiest days of my life, filled with laughter, love, and promises for the future. Over the years, we built a life together that many would envy. We traveled, made plans, and enjoyed every moment we spent together. Jessica's enthusiasm for life was contagious, and she always pushed me to try new things, to step out of my comfort zone. Today, as I sat alone in the kitchen, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to change. Jessica had never left such a cryptic note before. It was unlike her to leave without saying goodbye in person. I tried to focus on my work, but my mind kept drifting back to her. That evening, Jessica came home later than usual. She was glowing, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she described the dishes she'd tried and the chefs she'd met. I listened, but my unease grew. There was something different about her, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. In the following weeks, Jessica's behavior changed. She started going out more often, saying she was meeting with friends or attending food-related events. She began to pay more attention to her appearance, spending extra time getting ready before leaving the house. I wanted to believe it was just her newfound passion for the culinary world, but a nagging doubt lingered. One night, as she was getting ready to go out, I decided to check her phone. I knew it was a breach of trust, but my curiosity got the better of me. I found messages from someone named Mark. They were more than just friendly texts. They were intimate, filled with inside jokes and plans to meet up. Confronting Jessica was one of the hardest things I've ever done. She admitted she had met Mark at the food festival. He was a chef from New York, charming and talented. She said they had connected instantly, and what started as a friendship had quickly turned into something more. Our argument was explosive. She packed a bag and left to stay with a friend. I felt betrayed, alone, and unsure of what to do next. The life we had built together was crumbling before my eyes, and I was powerless to stop it. As the days passed, I realized I needed to understand who Mark was and why Jessica had chosen him over me. I booked a trip to New York, determined to confront him and get some answers. I had to see for myself what he had that I lacked. Finding Mark's restaurant wasn't difficult. It was a trendy spot in the heart of the city, buzzing with activity. When I finally met him, I saw a man who was everything I wasn't, confident, successful, and charismatic. But as we talked, I realized he didn't have what Jessica and I shared: a history, a deep connection built over years of love and companionship. I returned home, more determined than ever to save our marriage. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I couldn't give up on us without a fight. Jessica and I had been through too much together to let it end like this. When she came home, we talked for hours. We reminisced about our happiest moments and acknowledged our mistakes. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it was necessary. We decided to seek help, to go through marriage counseling, and rebuild the trust we had lost. Jessica cut all ties with Mark, and we began the difficult journey of healing. It would take time, effort, and a lot of forgiveness, but I believed in us. Our love was worth fighting for, and together, we would find a way to start anew. The weeks following Jessica's return were a whirlwind of emotions. We began seeing a marriage counselor, Dr. Miller, a no-nonsense therapist, with decades of experience in helping couples navigate troubled waters. Our first session was tense. Jessica and I sat on opposite ends of the couch, the silence between us thick with unspoken words. "Let's start with why you're here," Dr. Miller said, looking at each of us in turn. I glanced at Jessica, who was staring at her hands. We're here because I had an affair, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. And you, Michael? How do you feel about that? Dr. Miller asked, turning her gaze to me. Angry, hurt, confused, I admitted. I don't understand why this happened. We had a good life together. Dr. Miller nodded. It's important to acknowledge those feelings. Jessica, can you tell us why you felt drawn to this other man? Jessica took a deep breath. I don't know if I can explain it completely. When I met Mark at the food festival, it was like a spark. I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years, but I realize now that it was a temporary escape, not a solution to our problems. We spent the next hour unpacking our issues, discussing the small cracks in our relationship that had gone unnoticed until they became chasms. Dr. Miller helped us identify patterns and behaviors that had contributed to our disconnect. After the session, Jessica and I walked back to our car in silence. The air between us felt slightly less heavy, but the road ahead still seemed daunting. In the days that followed, we worked hard to rebuild our relationship. Jessica made an effort to be more present, and I tried to be more understanding and open. It wasn't easy. There were days when the pain of her betrayal felt insurmountable, but I clung to the hope that we could find our way back to each other. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching TV, Jessica turned to me. Michael, I want you to know how sorry I am. I regret what I did every day. I looked at her, seeing the sincerity in her eyes. I know, Jess, and I'm trying to forgive you. It takes time. She nodded. I understand. I just want you to know that I'm committed to making this work. A few weeks later, I decided it was time to confront Mark. I needed closure, and I felt that seeing him again would help me move forward. Jessica was hesitant but supportive. Are you sure about this? She asked as I packed my bag for another trip to New York. Yes, I replied. I need to do this for us. When I arrived at Mark's restaurant, I felt a knot of tension in my stomach. I asked to speak with him privately, and he led me to his office, a sleek, modern space that reflected his personality. Michael, right? He said, offering me a seat. What can I do for you? I wanted to talk to you about Jessica, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He sighed and leaned back in his chair. I figured as much. Look, I didn't mean to cause any harm. I didn't know she was married at first. But you knew later, I pointed out, and you still pursued her. He looked guilty. You're right, I did. I was selfish. I thought I could offer her something she was missing. What do you think that was? I asked. He shrugged. Excitement, maybe? A break from routine? I don't know, but I see now that it was a mistake. I studied him for a moment. Do you love her? He shook his head. No, I don't. It was never about love. It was about the thrill, the connection. But I realize now that it wasn't real. Not like what you two have. His words were a strange comfort. I could see that he regretted his actions, and in a way, it helped me understand that Jessica's affair wasn't about replacing me. It was a wake-up call for both of us. When I returned home, Jessica was waiting anxiously. How did it go? She asked. It was enlightening, I said, sitting down beside her. He regrets what happened, and so do I. She looked surprised. You regret it? I regret that we let things get to the point where you felt you needed to find solace elsewhere. But I also see it as a chance for us to rebuild, to make our relationship stronger. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. I want that too, Michael, more than anything. From that moment, we made a pact to be more open with each other, to communicate our needs and fears. It wasn't a quick fix, but it was a start. We were determined to fight for our marriage, to find our way back to the love we once shared. The weeks turned into months as Jessica and I navigated the rocky path of rebuilding our trust. Each day was a new challenge, but also a new opportunity to grow closer and rediscover the love we had nearly lost. Our marriage counseling sessions with Dr. Miller became a crucial part of our healing process. Trust is like a fragile vase, Dr. Miller said during one session. Once it's broken, you can glue it back together, but the cracks will always be there. It's up to you both to fill those cracks with stronger material. Jessica and I both nodded, understanding the metaphor all too well. We were trying to fill those cracks with honesty, patience, and a renewed commitment to each other. One of the most significant steps we took was to create new memories and traditions, reinforcing our bond. We started by spending more quality time together. We went on weekly date nights, exploring new restaurants and activities in our town. One evening, we decided to take a cooking class together. It felt symbolic, given how Jessica's affair had started at a food festival. The class was held in a cozy rustic kitchen with a warm, inviting atmosphere. Our instructor, Chef Alex, was a jovial man who immediately put us at ease. "Tonight, we're going to make a three-course meal," he announced with a smile. "I want you all to work together as a team. Cooking is about connection, after all." Jessica and I exchanged a glance, both appreciating the deeper meaning of his words. As we chopped vegetables and mixed ingredients, we found ourselves laughing and talking more freely than we had in a long time. It was a small but significant step toward healing. After the class, we sat down to enjoy the meal we had prepared. The food was delicious, but more importantly, we felt a renewed sense of togetherness. It was a reminder that we could create beautiful things together, despite the pain and betrayal. Another pivotal moment came when Jessica suggested we go on a weekend getaway to the beach, where we had gotten married. It had always been a special place for us, full of happy memories. We rented a small cottage by the shore, and as we walked hand in hand along the beach, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore was soothing. We talked about our hopes and dreams, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a genuine sense of hope for our future. One evening, as the sun set, casting a golden glow over the water, Jessica turned to me. "Michael, I want to renew our vows," she said softly. "I want to promise you again that I'll always choose us, no matter what." I was taken aback but touched by her sincerity. "I want that too, Jess," I replied. "Let's do it." The next day we stood on the beach, barefoot in the sand with the waves gently lapping at our feet. It was a simple ceremony, just the two of us, but it was deeply meaningful. We spoke from the heart, reaffirming our commitment to each other and to our marriage. "I promise to love you, to cherish you, and to always work together to overcome any obstacles," I said, looking into her eyes. "I promise to be faithful, to support you, and to never take our love for granted," Jessica responded, tears glistening in her eyes. As we exchanged new rings, symbolizing our renewed vows, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It wasn't about erasing the past, but about embracing the future with a stronger, more resilient bond. Returning home, we continued to build on the progress we had made. We established new routines and rituals that brought us closer together. Every Sunday morning, we would make breakfast together and sit on the porch, sipping coffee and talking about our week. It became a cherished tradition, a time for us to reconnect and appreciate the small moments. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Jessica turned to me. "Michael, I want you to know how grateful I am for your forgiveness and your willingness to work through this. I know it hasn't been easy." I reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "It's been hard, Jess, but it's worth it. You're worth it. We're worth it." Our journey was far from over, and there would be more challenges ahead, but we were facing them together. The cracks in our vase would always be there, but they were filled with something stronger now: love, understanding, and a commitment to never stop fighting for each other. Life began to settle into a new rhythm. Our Sunday morning breakfasts, our weekly date nights, and our renewed vows created a foundation that we both clung to. Yet the journey of healing was far from straightforward. There were moments when the past would creep back in, threatening to reopen old wounds. One evening I came home from work to find Jessica sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her phone with a look of distress. I approached her cautiously. "Everything okay?" I asked, already feeling a knot form in my stomach. She looked up, her eyes filled with worry. "It's Mark," she said quietly. "He reached out to me." My heart sank. "What did he say?" "He just sent a message asking how I've been." "I haven't responded," she quickly added, seeing the look on my face. "I didn't know if I should tell you, but I don't want to hide anything from you." I took a deep breath, fighting the urge to react impulsively. "I'm glad you told me," I said, sitting down beside her. "We agreed to be honest with each other, and I appreciate that you are." We talked it through, deciding together that it was best for her to block his number and any other means of contact. It was a reminder that while we were healing, there would always be external factors testing our resolve. As time passed, we faced other challenges as well. Jessica's job at the art gallery became more demanding, and I found myself working longer hours at the office. The stress of our careers sometimes made it difficult to find quality time together, but we were determined not to let it pull us apart again. One particularly stressful week, we decided to take a break from our routines and spend a quiet weekend at a cabin in the mountains. The fresh air and serene surroundings provided a much-needed escape from the pressures of daily life. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace, Jessica looked at me with a thoughtful expression. "Michael, I've been thinking a lot about us and our future," she said. "I want to make sure we're always prioritizing our relationship, no matter what comes our way." I nodded, understanding her concerns. "I feel the same way. We can't let work or anything else come between us again. We need to keep making time for each other." We decided to implement a new tradition, a monthly getaway. Whether it was a weekend trip or just a day spent exploring a nearby town, it would be our time to reconnect and remind ourselves of the love that had brought us together. The first of these getaways took us to a quaint seaside village. We strolled hand in hand along the boardwalk, enjoying the salty breeze and the sound of seagulls overhead. It was during one of these walks that we stumbled upon a small, charming bookstore. Inside, the shelves were lined with an eclectic mix of books, from classic literature to modern bestsellers. Jessica's eyes lit up as she picked up a novel by one of her favorite authors. "Remember when we used to spend entire weekends reading together?" she asked with a smile. I laughed, recalling those lazy Sundays when we would lie on the couch, each lost in our own book but connected by the shared silence. Of course, those were some of the best times. We each bought a book and spent the rest of the afternoon sitting on the beach, reading and occasionally sharing passages that moved us. It was a simple pleasure, but it brought us closer together. Back at home, we continued to work on our communication. We learned to express our feelings without fear of judgment, to listen without interrupting, and to support each other through the ups and downs. There were still moments of frustration and hurt, but we faced them together, determined not to let them fester. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Jessica turned to me with a serious look. "Michael, I know we've come a long way, but I want us to keep growing. I want us to never stop learning about each other and finding new ways to strengthen our bond." I reached for her hand, feeling the warmth of her touch. "I promise, Jess, we'll keep working on us no matter what. Our love is worth every effort." Our journey was ongoing, a continuous process of rebuilding and renewing our commitment to each other. We had learned that love wasn't just about the good times, but also about facing challenges head-on and emerging stronger together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over our home, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. We had weathered the storm, and while the scars would always be there, they were a testament to our resilience and our unwavering commitment to each other. Our love story was far from perfect, but it was ours, and we were determined to make it last. As we settled into our new routines and traditions, life started to feel more balanced. Jessica and I were both making conscious efforts to stay connected, and our relationship was stronger for it. But despite the progress we had made, there was still a part of our journey we hadn't yet addressed: starting a family. It had always been a topic of discussion, but after the affair, it felt like a distant dream. One evening, while we were having dinner at our favorite Italian restaurant, Jessica brought it up again. "Michael, I've been thinking a lot about our future," she said, her voice tentative. "Do you still want to have kids?" I looked at her, surprised but also touched by her question. "I do," I replied honestly, "but only if we're both ready." Jessica nodded, a thoughtful look on her face. "I feel like we're in a good place now. We've worked so hard to rebuild our relationship, and I think we could be great parents." We spent the rest of the evening talking about our hopes and fears, and by the end of the night, we had made the decision to start trying for a baby. It felt like a natural next step in our journey, a new chapter that we were both excited to embark on. The following months were filled with anticipation and a renewed sense of purpose. We converted our spare room into a nursery, painting the walls a soft, calming shade of yellow. We spent weekends shopping for baby clothes and furniture, each new addition to the room bringing us closer to the reality of becoming parents. One sunny afternoon, Jessica and I were sitting on the porch, enjoying the warmth of the day. She reached for my hand, a look of excitement in her eyes. "Michael, I have something to tell you," she said, her voice trembling slightly. I felt my heart skip a beat. "What is it?" She took a deep breath. her eyes shining with tears of joy. Impregnant. The words hung in the air, and for a moment I was speechless. Then a wave of overwhelming happiness washed over me. I pulled her into my arms, holding her tightly. That's amazing news, Jess. I can't believe it. We spent the rest of the day in a state of bliss, talking about our plans for the future and imagining what our lives would be like with a baby. It felt like everything we had been through was leading us to this moment, and I couldn't have been happier. As the months passed, we attended prenatal classes together, learning everything we could about childbirth and parenting. We spent evenings reading books about baby care and discussing our hopes and dreams for our child. It was a time of anticipation and joy, but also of reflection. One night as we lay in bed, Jessica turned to me. Michael, do you ever think about how far we've come? I nodded, reaching out to brush a strand of hair from her face. All the time. We've been through so much, but it's made us stronger. She smiled, her eyes filled with love. I'm so grateful for you, for us. I can't wait to see what the future holds. The day our baby was born was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Jessica was a warrior, facing the challenges of childbirth with strength and determination. When I held our baby girl for the first time, I felt a profound sense of love and responsibility. She was a symbol of our journey, our resilience, and our unwavering commitment to each other. We named her Lily, a name that felt perfect for the new life we had created together. As we brought her home, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for everything we had overcome. Our journey had been filled with pain and heartbreak, but it had also brought us closer together and given us the greatest gift of all. The first few weeks of parenthood were a whirlwind of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and feeding schedules. But through it all, Jessica and I worked as a team, supporting each other and sharing the joys and challenges of raising our daughter. One evening, as we sat in the nursery watching Lily sleep, Jessica leaned her head on my shoulder. We did it, Michael. We made it through the hardest times and came out stronger. I kissed the top of her head, feeling a deep sense of contentment. We did, and we'll keep facing whatever comes our way, together. Our love story was far from over. It had taken on new dimensions, filled with the joys and challenges of parenthood. But through it all, we remained committed to each other, determined to create a life filled with love, trust, and happiness. As I watched Lily grow, I saw our journey reflected in her bright eyes and infectious smile. She was a reminder of how far we had come, and a symbol of the beautiful future we were building together. And in those quiet moments, holding my daughter and my wife, I knew that our love, though tested and scarred, was stronger than ever. We had faced the storm and emerged on the other side, ready to embrace whatever life had in store for us. Life with Lily was both a joy and a challenge. Our days were filled with laughter, sleepless nights, and the endless wonder of watching our daughter grow. Each milestone, her first smile, her first word, her first steps, was a reminder of the new life we had built together. Jessica and I continued to prioritize our relationship, knowing that the foundation of our family depended on it. We maintained our monthly getaways, sometimes bringing Lily along and other times enjoying some much-needed alone time. Our marriage was a work in progress, but we were committed to making it stronger each day. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to a nearby national park. The crisp autumn air and the vibrant fall colors made for a perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of daily life. We rented a cozy cabin nestled in the woods, a peaceful retreat where we could reconnect with nature and each other. As we hiked along a trail, Lily strapped securely in a carrier on my back, Jessica and I talked about our hopes and dreams for the future. We discussed our plans to expand our family, our aspirations for our careers, and the values we wanted to instill in Lily. I want her to know the importance of love and forgiveness, Jessica said, pausing to admire the view from a lookout point. I want her to see that even when things get tough, we can overcome anything together. I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the journey we had taken. She'll know, Jess. She'll see it in how we treat each other and how we navigate the challenges that come our way. Our hike led us to a serene lake, its surface reflecting the surrounding trees and the clear blue sky. We sat on a blanket, enjoying a picnic, while Lily played with some toys nearby. It was a simple moment, but one that felt incredibly significant. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the water, Jessica turned to me with a thoughtful expression. Michael, do you ever worry that the past will come back to haunt us? I took a deep breath, considering her question. I think about it sometimes, I admitted. But I also believe that we've learned from our mistakes. We've built something strong and resilient. And as long as we keep communicating and supporting each other, I believe we can face anything. Jessica smiled, her eyes reflecting the fading light. I believe that too. We've come so far, and I know we can keep moving forward. Back at the cabin after putting Lily to bed, Jessica and I sat by the fireplace, the warmth of the flames creating a cozy atmosphere. We talked about our dreams and fears, our triumphs and regrets. It was in these quiet moments that I realized just how much we had grown, both individually and as a couple. I love you, Michael, Jessica said softly, her hand resting on mine. Thank you for standing by me, for forgiving me, and for building this life with me. I squeezed her hand, feeling a rush of emotion. I love you too, Jess. And I wouldn't trade this journey for anything. The next morning we packed up and headed home, feeling rejuvenated and more connected than ever. Life resumed its usual rhythm, but the memories of our time in the cabin stayed with us, a reminder of the importance of taking time to nurture our relationship. As Lily grew, we continued to face new challenges. Parenting was an ongoing learning experience, filled with moments of joy, frustration, and everything in between. But through it all, Jessica and I remained a team, supporting each other and finding strength in our shared commitment. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day, I found myself reflecting on how far we had come. Jessica was in the nursery, rocking Lily to sleep, and I stood in the doorway watching them with a sense of awe. Jessica looked up and saw me, a tired but content smile on her face. She's finally asleep, she whispered, gently placing Lily in her crib. I walked over and wrapped my arms around her, feeling a deep sense of love and gratitude. You're an amazing mother, Jess, and an incredible partner. She leaned into me, her eyes closed. And you're an amazing father and husband. We've been through so much, but we've built something beautiful. As we stood there watching our daughter sleep, I knew that our journey was far from over. There would be more challenges and more moments of doubt and fear, but there would also be more moments of joy, love, and connection. Our love story was a testament to the power of forgiveness and the resilience of the human spirit. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was ours. And as long as we faced each new day with the same determination and commitment, I knew we could overcome anything. Life was an ever-evolving journey, and we were ready to embrace it, together. The years rolled by with a mix of routine and unexpected turns. Lily continued to grow, and with her growth came new adventures and challenges. Jessica and I found joy in the little moments of parenthood, from her first day of school to her first soccer game. Our lives were busy, but filled with love. One spring morning, as we were sitting in the kitchen having breakfast, Jessica cleared her throat and looked at me with a serious expression. Michael, there's something I need to talk to you about. I set my coffee cup down, a knot of anxiety forming in my stomach. What's on your mind? I've been offered a promotion at work, she said, her eyes searching mine for a reaction. It's a big opportunity, but it would mean moving to another city. The words hung in the air, and I felt a mix of emotions, pride for her achievement, but also worry about the implications. That's amazing, Jess, I'm so proud of you. But a move, that's a big decision. I know, she replied, reaching for my hand. I've thought about it a lot. I don't want to disrupt our lives, but this could be a chance for us to start fresh, to build something new together. We spent the next few weeks discussing the possibility of moving. We weighed the pros and cons, considering everything from our jobs to Lily's schooling. It was a daunting decision, but ultimately, we realized that it could be an exciting new chapter for our family. The day we told Lily about the move, we were both nervous. We sat her down in the living room, trying to explain in a way that a 5-year-old could understand. Lily, Mommy got a new job and we're going to be moving to a new city, I said, watching her face for any signs of distress. Will I still see my friends? She asked, her little brow furrowing in confusion. Yes, you will, Jessica assured her. And you'll make new friends too. We'll be together, and that's what matters most. Lily seemed to take the news in stride, her curiosity about the new city outweighing her concerns. It was a relief to see her excitement, and it gave Jessica and me the reassurance we needed. The move itself was hectic, filled with packing, saying goodbye to friends, and adjusting to a new environment. Our new home was in a vibrant city with plenty of opportunities for all of us. We found a cozy house in a family-friendly neighborhood, and soon we were settling into our new routine. Jessica's new job was demanding, but she thrived in her role. I was able to transfer to a branch of my company in the new city, and although it was an adjustment, I found my footing. Lily started at a new school and quickly made friends, her boundless energy and curiosity helping her adapt easily. One evening, after a particularly busy day, Jessica and I sat on the porch of our new home, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. It reminded us of our old home and the many evenings we had spent on our porch, dreaming about the future. "Do you ever miss our old life?" Jessica asked, her head resting on my shoulder. "Sometimes," I admitted, "but I also see this as a new adventure. We've come so far, and this is just another chapter in our story." She smiled, squeezing my hand. "I'm so glad we're in this together. I couldn't have done it without you." We continued to make time for each other, even amidst the chaos of our new lives. Our monthly getaways became even more important, a chance to escape the hustle and bustle of the city and reconnect. We explored new places, from charming small towns to breathtaking national parks, each trip strengthening our bond. As Lily grew older, we involved her in our adventures, creating memories that we would all cherish. We taught her the importance of love, forgiveness, and resilience, hoping to instill the values that had helped us navigate our own journey. One summer, we decided to take a road trip across the country. It was a bold undertaking, but we were excited about the prospect of exploring new places and spending quality time together. We mapped out our route, packed the car, and set off on what would become one of the most memorable experiences of our lives. We visited national parks, historical landmarks, and quirky small towns, each stop adding a new layer to our adventure. We camped under the stars, hiked through breathtaking landscapes, and shared countless stories and laughs around campfires. During one of our stops, at a picturesque lakeside campground, Jessica and I sat by the water, watching Lily play with some new friends she had made. The sunset painted the sky in vibrant hues of orange and pink, and I felt a deep sense of contentment. "We've built something beautiful, haven't we?" Jessica said, her voice filled with emotion. "We have," I agreed, wrapping my arm around her. "And it's all because we never gave up on each other." Our road trip was a reminder of the journey we had taken, the challenges we had faced, and the love that had carried us through. It was a testament to our resilience and our commitment to each other and our family. As we drove back home, the memories of our adventure fresh in our minds, I realized that our love story was an ever-evolving journey. It wasn't just about overcoming the past, but about embracing the future with open hearts and minds. Our life was far from perfect, but it was filled with love, laughter, and the promise of new beginnings. And as long as we faced each new chapter together, I knew that we could overcome anything. The road ahead was uncertain, but with Jessica and Lily by my side, I was ready to embrace whatever came our way. Our love story was still being written, and I was excited to see where the next chapter would take us. Life after the road trip felt like we had truly found our rhythm. Jessica and I continued to nurture our relationship, balancing our careers with our roles as parents. Lily was thriving in school, making friends, and discovering her interests. It felt like we had reached a place of stability and happiness. But as life often does, it threw us an unexpected curveball. It started with small things. Jessica seemed more tired than usual, often complaining of headaches and fatigue. I attributed it to the demands of her new job, the stress of the move, and the everyday challenges of parenting. But as weeks turned into months, her symptoms worsened. She started experiencing dizziness and occasional blurred vision, and I began to worry. One evening after Lily had gone to bed, I sat Jessica down. "Jess, I think you need to see a doctor. This isn't just stress or exhaustion. Something's not right." She nodded, her eyes reflecting the concern I felt. "I know, Michael. I've been putting it off, hoping it would just go away, but I think you're right." The next day, she made an appointment with our family doctor. After a series of tests and a visit to a specialist, we received the news that no one ever wanted to hear. Jessica had a brain tumor. The world seemed to stop at that moment. We sat in the sterile, impersonal doctor's office, holding hands as the doctor explained the diagnosis and the treatment options. The tumor was benign, but in a tricky location, requiring delicate surgery and a long road to recovery. The weeks that followed were a blur of hospital visits, consultations, and preparations for the surgery. We tried to keep life as normal as possible for Lily, but the weight of the situation hung over us like a dark cloud. Our once stable and happy life felt fragile and uncertain. The day of the surgery arrived, and as I sat in the waiting room, my mind raced with fears and what-ifs. I clung to the hope that everything would be okay, that we would get through this like we had gotten through everything else. Hours passed, each one feeling like an eternity. Finally, the surgeon emerged, looking tired but hopeful. "The surgery went well," he said. "We were able to remove the tumor, and now it's a matter of recovery and follow-up treatment." Relief washed over me, but I knew the journey was far from over. Jessica spent several days in the hospital, and I was by her side every moment I could be. When she was finally able to come home, we faced a new set of challenges. She was weak, and the recovery process was slow and arduous. We leaned on each other more than ever during this time. I took on more responsibilities at home, juggling my job with caring for Jessica and Lily. Friends and family rallied around us, offering support and assistance. It was a humbling reminder of the strength of our community and the power of love and resilience. One evening, as I was helping Jessica with her physical therapy exercises, she looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Michael, I don't know what I would do without you. You've been my rock through all of this." I held her hand, my own eyes filling with tears. "We're in this together, Jess. We've faced so much already, and we'll get through this too, one step at a time." Slowly but surely, Jessica began to regain her strength. The days turned into weeks, and then months, each one bringing small but significant improvements. We celebrated every milestone, no matter how small, and found joy in the little victories. Through it all, our love for each other only grew stronger. We learned to cherish every moment, to appreciate the simple joys of life, and to never take anything for granted. Our journey had taken an unexpected turn, but we faced it together, with courage and determination. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching Lily play in the yard, Jessica turned to me with a smile. "You know, Michael, this experience has taught me so much. It's reminded me of the importance of love, resilience, and never giving up." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for her words. "We've been through so much, Jess, but we've come out stronger on the other side, and we'll keep facing whatever comes our way, together." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over our home, I felt a renewed sense of hope and optimism. Our love story was far from over, and while the future was uncertain, I knew that with Jessica and Lily by my side, we could overcome anything. Life was an unpredictable journey, filled with both joy and hardship. But as long as we faced it together, with love and resilience, I knew that we could weather any storm and embrace whatever the future held. Jessica's recovery was a long and challenging journey, but she faced it with unwavering determination. Our family life had to adjust around her healing process. We turned our bedroom into a comfortable recovery space for her, making sure she had everything she needed close at hand. Friends and family continued to offer their support, bringing meals, helping with errands, and even taking care of Lily when we needed a break. Despite the hardships, there were moments of joy and connection that strengthened our bond. One such moment came on a quiet Saturday afternoon. I was in the kitchen preparing lunch when I heard the familiar sound of laughter from the living room. I peeked around the corner to see Jessica sitting on the couch with Lily, who was showing her a drawing she had made. "Mommy, look! It's our family," Lily said, pointing to the colorful figure she had carefully drawn. Jessica smiled, her eyes filled with love. "It's beautiful, Lily. I love it." I watched them for a moment, my heart swelling with gratitude for the small but precious moments we shared. Despite everything, we were still a family, and that was what mattered most. As the weeks turned into months, Jessica's strength gradually returned. She began to resume some of her usual activities, starting with short walks around the neighborhood and eventually returning to work on a part-time basis. It was a slow process, but each step forward was a victory. One evening, After Lily had gone to bed, Jessica and I sat on the porch, enjoying the cool night air. It had become our tradition to spend these quiet moments together, reflecting on the day and looking toward the future. Michael, I want to thank you, Jessica said, breaking the comfortable silence, for everything you've done. You've been my rock through all of this, and I couldn't have made it without you. I took her hand, feeling the warmth of her touch. Jess, we're a team. We've always faced everything together, and we'll keep doing that. I'm just glad you're here with me. She leaned her head on my shoulder, a contented sigh escaping her lips. I love you, Michael, more than words can express. I love you too, Jess, I replied, holding her close, and I'm so proud of how far we've come. Our conversation drifted to the future, and we talked about our hopes and dreams. Jessica had always been passionate about her work, and she expressed a desire to use her experience to help others facing similar health challenges. I want to make a difference, Michael, she said, her eyes shining with determination. I want to use what I've learned to support others who are going through difficult times. I nodded, feeling a swell of admiration for her strength and compassion. I think that's a wonderful idea, Jess, and I'll support you every step of the way. As Jessica's health continued to improve, she began volunteering with a local organization that provided support to cancer patients and their families. She found fulfillment in helping others, and it brought a renewed sense of purpose to her life. Our family life also found a new rhythm. We cherished our time together, making the most of every moment. We took more family trips, explored new places, and created memories that would last a lifetime. Lily's laughter filled our home, a constant reminder of the joy and love that bound us together. One summer evening, as we sat around a campfire during one of our weekend getaways, Jessica looked at me with a thoughtful expression. Michael, I feel like we've come full circle. We've faced so many challenges, but we've also found so much joy, and I think it's made us stronger. I smiled, feeling the warmth of the fire and the love that surrounded us. You're right, Jess. Our journey has been filled with ups and downs, but it's brought us closer together, and I'm grateful for every moment. Lily, who had been roasting marshmallows, looked up at us with a wide grin. I love our family adventures. Can we do this forever? Jessica and I exchanged a smile, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Yes, Lily, I said, pulling her into a hug. Well, keep having adventures and making memories, together. As the stars twinkled above us, I felt a profound sense of peace. Our love story was far from over, and while the future remained uncertain, I knew that we could face anything as long as we had each other. Life was a journey, filled with both joy and hardship, but it was a journey worth taking. With Jessica and Lily by my side, I felt ready to embrace whatever came our way. Our love, tested by time and challenges, had only grown stronger, and it would continue to guide us through the unknown. As we sat by the campfire, surrounded by the warmth of family and the promise of new beginnings, I knew that our story was still being written, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take us next. The years continued to pass, each one bringing new experiences and challenges, but also deepening the bond between us. Jessica's involvement with the local organization grew, and she soon became a key figure in the community, known for her empathy and dedication. Watching her thrive in this role filled me with pride and admiration. Lily, now a vibrant and curious 8-year-old, brought endless joy to our lives. She excelled in school and discovered a love for art, often filling our home with her colorful drawings and imaginative creations. Jessica and I encouraged her creativity, knowing how important it was for her to express herself. One spring afternoon, as we were working on a school project with Lily, Jessica received a phone call that would change our lives once again. It was from the director of the organization where she volunteered. Jess, they've offered me a position as the head of a new initiative, she said, her eyes wide with excitement. It's a big opportunity to expand our work and help even more people. I smiled, seeing the passion in her eyes. That's incredible, Jess. I'm so proud of you. What's involved? It's a huge step, she explained. It would mean more responsibilities and possibly more travel, but it also means making a bigger impact. We discussed the offer over dinner that evening, weighing the pros and cons. Jessica was excited about the opportunity, but we both knew it would bring new challenges to our family dynamic. Ultimately, we decided that the potential benefits far outweighed the difficulties. The next few months were a whirlwind, as Jessica transitioned into her new role. She traveled more frequently, attending conferences and meeting with other organizations to build partnerships. While it was demanding, she found immense fulfillment in her work. During this time, I took on a larger role at home, ensuring that Lily's needs were met and maintaining the household. It was an adjustment, but it also allowed me to strengthen my bond with Lily. We spent more time together, exploring her interests and supporting her in her endeavors. One evening, after a particularly busy week, Jessica returned from a conference with a surprise. "Michael, I've been thinking a lot about our future," she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "What if we started a foundation together, something that combines our strengths and passions?" I was taken aback but intrigued. "A foundation? That sounds amazing, Jess. But what would it focus on?" "Supporting families going through medical crises," she explained, "offering resources, emotional support, and advocacy. We've been through so much, and I believe we can use our experience to help others." The idea resonated deeply with me. Our journey had been filled with challenges, but also with resilience and love. The thought of turning our experiences into something that could benefit others was incredibly inspiring. We spent the next several months planning and building our foundation. It was hard work, but it brought us closer together as we combined our skills and passions. Jessica's experience in the nonprofit sector and my background in business proved to be a powerful combination. The launch of our foundation was a momentous occasion. We held a small event, inviting friends, family, and members of the community. As we stood on the stage sharing our vision and mission, I felt a profound sense of purpose. "This foundation is a testament to our journey," Jessica said, her voice filled with emotion. "It's about turning our struggles into strength and using our experiences to help others. We hope to make a difference in the lives of families facing medical crises, providing them with the support and resources they need." The applause that followed was overwhelming, but what touched me most were the faces in the crowd, people who had supported us, believed in us, and now shared in our vision. In the weeks and months that followed, our foundation began to make a real impact. We provided financial assistance to families, organized support groups, and partnered with hospitals and other organizations to offer comprehensive care. The work was demanding but incredibly rewarding. One afternoon, as we were wrapping up a meeting at our foundation's office, Jessica turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Michael, do you ever think about how far we've come?" "All the time," I replied, taking her hand. "It's been an incredible journey, filled with highs and lows. But through it all, we faced everything together. And look at what we've built." She smiled, her eyes shining with love. "I'm so grateful for you, for our family, and for this opportunity to make a difference. We've turned our challenges into something beautiful." As we stood there, reflecting on our journey, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Our love story had taken us through unexpected paths, but each twist and turn had strengthened our bond and shaped our future. We had faced adversity, but we had also found joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Life was an unpredictable journey, filled with both trials and triumphs. But as long as we faced it together, with love and resilience, I knew we could overcome anything. Our foundation was just the beginning of a new chapter, one that held the promise of making a lasting impact on the lives of others. With Jessica and Lily by my side, I felt ready to embrace whatever came our way. Our love, tested by time and challenges, had only grown stronger, and it would continue to guide us through the unknown. As we looked toward the future, I knew that our story was still being written, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take us next. Our foundation took off in ways we hadn't expected. The response from the community and beyond was overwhelming, and soon we found ourselves juggling a growing team, increasing demands, and expanding our reach. The work was fulfilling, but it also brought new pressures and challenges. Jessica and I navigated this new phase with the same commitment and partnership that had carried us through so much already. We made sure to carve out time for our family, keeping our bond strong and our priorities clear. Yet the balancing act wasn't always easy. One crisp autumn evening, after a particularly hectic day at the foundation, Jessica and I sat on our porch sipping hot cocoa. The leaves were turning brilliant shades of red and gold, and the cool breeze carried a hint of the approaching winter. "Michael," Jessica began, her voice tinged with weariness, "I've been thinking a lot about how to manage all this. The foundation is growing so fast, and I feel like we're constantly playing catch-up." I nodded, understanding her concern. I know, Jess. It's been a whirlwind. But what you're doing is incredible, and we're making a real difference. She smiled, though I could see the exhaustion in her eyes. I couldn't do it without you, but I also don't want us to burn out. We need to find a way to balance everything better. We spent the next few weeks reorganizing our schedules, delegating more responsibilities to our capable team, and ensuring we had dedicated family time. It was a necessary adjustment, and it helped us find a more sustainable rhythm. One Saturday morning, we decided to take a break from our busy lives and spend the day at a nearby apple orchard. Lily was thrilled at the prospect of apple picking, and we were excited for a day of simple, wholesome fun. As we wandered through the orchard, filling our baskets with crisp, juicy apples, I felt a sense of peace. These moments of togetherness were what made everything worthwhile. We laughed, took silly photos, and indulged in freshly baked apple pie at the Orchard Cafe. Later, as we sat under a large oak tree, watching Lily play with some newfound friends, Jessica leaned her head on my shoulder. "This is perfect," she said softly. "We need more days like this." I wrapped my arm around her, feeling the warmth of the autumn sun. Absolutely. It's these moments that keep us grounded. Back at home, life continued to unfold with its mix of challenges and triumphs. Our foundation's work was making a significant impact, and we received letters and messages from families whose lives had been touched by our support. Each story was a reminder of why we started this journey and fueled our determination to keep going. One winter evening, as we prepared for our annual fundraising gala, Jessica and I took a moment to reflect on our journey. The event was a crucial part of our foundation's efforts, and we worked tirelessly to ensure its success. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Jessica asked, adjusting her dress in front of the mirror. "From that first meeting in our living room to this." I smiled, adjusting my tie. "It's been an incredible journey, and it's only just beginning. I'm so proud of what we've accomplished together." The gala was a resounding success. The room was filled with supporters, friends, and families who believed in our mission. As we took the stage to thank everyone, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Jessica began, her voice filled with emotion. "Your support means the world to us and to the families we serve. This foundation is a testament to the power of community, resilience, and love." I took the microphone, adding my own heartfelt words. "We started this journey because we wanted to turn our challenges into hope for others. And tonight, seeing all of you here, we know we're doing just that. Together, we can make a difference." The applause that followed was thunderous, and as we looked out at the sea of smiling faces, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, but it had brought us to this moment, a moment of triumph, hope, and unity. As the evening wound down and guests began to leave, Jessica and I stood together, hand in hand, reflecting on the night's success. "We did it," she said, a tear of joy in her eye. "We did," I agreed, squeezing her hand. "And we'll keep doing it. For us, for Lily, and for all the families who need our help." Life was a journey, unpredictable and often challenging. But with love, resilience, and a shared purpose, we had built something beautiful. Our foundation was more than just an organization. It was a symbol of our love, our strength, and our commitment to making the world a better place. As we walked to our car, the night air crisp and refreshing, I felt a sense of anticipation for the future. Our story was still unfolding, and with Jessica and Lily by my side, I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together. Our love had carried us through so much already, and it would continue to guide us through whatever came next. The road ahead was uncertain, but as long as we had each other, I knew that anything was possible. Our journey was far from over, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take us next. The success of our annual fundraising gala injected new energy into our foundation. With increased funds and awareness, we were able to expand our reach, helping even more families in need. Jessica and I poured our hearts into this work, finding fulfillment in the impact we were making. Yet, as life often does, it soon threw another surprise our way. One crisp morning in early spring, I was in my office reviewing the Foundation's latest reports when my phone rang. It was Jessica, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Michael, you're not going to believe this. I just got a call from the governor's office. They want to honor us with an award for our contributions to the community." "Wow, that's incredible," I replied, feeling a mix of pride and astonishment. When's the ceremony? Next month, she said. They're holding a big event, and they want us to be the keynote speakers. Can you believe it? It was a remarkable recognition, one that underscored how far we had come since the inception of our foundation. We spent the next few weeks preparing our speech, reflecting on our journey and the lessons we had learned. As the date approached, we arranged for Lily to stay with her grandparents for the weekend. She was excited about the adventure, and we knew she would be in good hands. The day of the ceremony arrived, and we found ourselves standing in the grand hall of the state capitol. The room was filled with influential figures, community leaders, and other honorees. It was a surreal experience, but we felt deeply honored. As we took the stage to accept our award, I looked at Jessica, feeling a rush of emotions. This journey has been incredible, I began, and it's all because of the love, resilience, and support of my amazing wife, Jessica. She smiled, taking the microphone. And none of this would have been possible without Michael's unwavering support and dedication. Together, we turned our challenges into opportunities to help others. The applause was overwhelming, and as we looked out at the audience, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. We had built something meaningful, something that would continue to make a difference long after we were gone. After the ceremony, we mingled with other attendees, sharing stories and forging new connections. One conversation in particular stood out. A tall, distinguished man approached us with a warm smile. "Jessica, Michael, congratulations on your award," he said. "My name is Daniel Thompson, and I'm the director of a national nonprofit organization focused on supporting families dealing with medical crises. I've been following your work, and I'm incredibly impressed." "Thank you, Daniel," Jessica replied. "It's an honor to meet you. We've heard great things about your organization. I'd love to discuss a potential partnership," he said. "I believe that together, we could expand our reach and help even more families across the country." The idea was both exciting and daunting. A national partnership would bring new opportunities, but also new challenges. We agreed to set up a meeting to explore the possibilities further. In the weeks that followed, we had several discussions with Daniel and his team. We shared our vision, our successes, and our challenges, finding common ground and mutual goals. It became clear that this partnership had the potential to elevate our work to new heights. One evening, after a particularly productive meeting, Jessica and I sat in our living room, discussing the future. Lily was asleep, and the house was quiet. "Michael, this partnership could be a game changer," Jessica said, her eyes shining with excitement. "But it's also a big step. Are we ready for this?" I took her hand, feeling a deep sense of certainty. "We've faced so much already, Jess, and we've always come out stronger. I believe in us, and I believe in our vision. We're ready." With renewed determination, we moved forward with the partnership. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity as we worked to integrate our efforts and expand our programs. The support and resources from Daniel's organization were invaluable, and we saw immediate results. Our foundation's impact grew, and we received heartfelt letters and messages from families across the country. Each story reinforced our belief in the importance of our work and fueled our drive to continue. As our foundation flourished, so did our family. Lily continued to thrive, her creativity and curiosity blossoming. We made sure to balance our work with quality family time, ensuring that our bond remained strong. One sunny afternoon, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to the beach. It was a welcome break from our busy schedules, and we cherished the opportunity to relax and reconnect. As we sat on the sand, watching Lily build sandcastles, Jessica turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Michael, do you ever think about how different our lives could have been?" "All the time," I replied, smiling. "But I wouldn't change a thing. Every challenge, every twist and turn has brought us to this moment, and I'm grateful for all of it." She nodded, her eyes filled with love. "Me too. We've created something beautiful together, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us next." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the ocean, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Our love story had taken us through unexpected paths, but each step strengthened our bond and shaped our future. Life was an unpredictable journey, filled with both trials and triumphs. But as long as we faced it together, with love and resilience, I knew we could overcome anything. Our foundation was a testament to our strength, and our family was a source of endless joy and inspiration. With Jessica and Lily by my side, I felt ready to embrace whatever came our way. Our story was still unfolding, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take us next. As the waves lapped at the shore and the stars began to twinkle above, I knew that our journey was far from over. The best was yet to come,